So this topic is all about modifying element, guys. So I'm gonna tell you about what is modifying element, and I will explain also you syntax and example with I explain you all those things. So what is the modifying element? Modifying element in JavaScript involves uh, changing their attributes and content or style dynamically, and modifying text content. This is a text content. Like select the element. First, const my element equal to document.get element by id, example element, and modifying the text content. If you want, then this my element or text content is equal to new text content. Explanation part I just wrote downside, so it's very easy for you all to understand what's the meaning of that. So the text content property is used to modify the text content of an element. Come to the downside, modifying the HTML content. Select the element, const my element is equal to document.get element by adding example element. Modifying the HTML content, right? So my element dot inner HTML strong, new HTML content strong. Explanation: the inner HTML property allow you to modify the HTML content of an element. Be cautious with the specifier to prevent the security issue. Avoid injecting untested content, right? So everything I just like whatever I'm going to say you, all this thing I just wrote before that in the sheet, right? So for you to understand, right? So you can read by yourself also. And so what are the modifying attributes? Const my element is equal to document.get element by id example element my element dot set attributes class command class. The set attribute method is used to modify the value of an attributes. In this example, it's change the class attributes to new class. Modifying style, select the element. Const my element is equal to document.get element by id example element. Modifying the style, my element dot style color equal to blue, my element dot style font size equal to 18 pixel. What is the meaning of that, by the way? Modifying style, the style property allow you to modify the line style of an element such as color, font and size, etc. Let's come to the adding and removing classes. Select the element. Const my element is equal to document dot get element by id example element. Add a class my element dot class list dot add new class. Remove a class my element dot class list dot remove old class. Explanation. What is the meaning of that? Adding and removing class. The class list property provide method add and remove to add or remove a class from an element. I know, guys, what I have done. Everything I just wrote syntax part. Then after that, what is happening in there and why we using this, and the explanation part I also wrote for your understanding, right? So you can understand easily what is actual we do in the modifying element. What is the meaning of modifying element and what are the things we can do in there. So everything I just step by step, I just wrote all this thing for your understanding. So now I'm gonna tell you about example of that. With the example, I'm gonna tell you what is the meaning of that, right? So consider the HTML following HTML document, HTML lang en head meta char set utf8 meta name viewport content width device minus width initial scale 1.0 title element modification example head body paragraph id is equal to example element original text content paragraph scripts or app.js. Now in the JavaScript app.js you can modify the content of the paragraph element. So select the element. This is the comment box. Okay, first what you have to do, my element is equal to document.get element by id example element. Modify the text content by element. The text content is equal to new text content. Modify the HTML content. My element dot inner HTML is equal to strong new HTML content is strong. Modify the value of an attribute. My element dot set attribute class common classes. Modify the style. My element dot style dot color is equal to blue. My element dot style dot font size equal to 18 pixel. Add a class. My element dot class list dot add highlight and remove a class. My element dot class list dot remove and inactive. Now come to the explanation part. HTML. Declare the HTML document type declaration. When you write this doc type HTML, it means ki declare the HTML version being used, which is the HTML5 in this case, right? So come to the downside. HTML document structure. What is HTML? The root element of the HTML document. Lang en specifies the language of the document as English. Head contain metadata including char set, viewport setting, and the document title. Meta char set UTF-8 declare the character set of the document as UTF-18. Meta name. Meta name. Viewport content width device width. Initial scale 1.0 configure. The viewport is setting for a responsive design. Right. So title. Set the title of the HTML document. Content inside body. Paragraph ID. Example element. Original text content paragraph. Define paragraph P element with the ID, example element, and the initial text content, original text content. JavaScript inclusion. JavaScript source is equal to app.js, app script link an external JavaScript file name app.js to the HTML document. The script is expected to contain JavaScript code that interact with the DOM. So purpose, what is the purpose of that? So the HTML document provide a basic structure with a paragraph element containing some initial text. The JavaScript file app.js is expected to interact with the paragraph element, demonstrating how to modify this its content dynamically. The modification may include changing the text content, altering the HTML content, and modifying attributes, style, or adding or removing classes. Right? That is the purpose. So certainly, let's break down the provided JavaScript. The upper side I just explained you, right? The JavaScript code. So I just divided in so many sections to explain you all what is actually going on. So const my element is equal to document.get element by id example element. This line uses the get element by id method to select an HTML element with the id example element and assign it to the variable my element. And this is a starting point for interacting with a specific element in the DOM. So come to the downside. Modify the text content. My element.text content is equal to new text content. Explanation: the text content property is used to modify the text content of the selected element, my element. In this case, it set the text content to the new text content. Modify the HTML content. My element.inner HTML. Strong new HTML content is strong. Explanation: the inner HTML property is used to modify the HTML content of the selected element. My element, it replaces the existing HTML content with a specified HTML. In this case, strong HTML content is strong. Modify the value of an attribute. My element dot set attributes class, common new classes, right? Explanation. So everything, whatever code, syntaxes I just wrote, upper side in app.js. So all the code I divided, and I'm just explaining you what is going on in every code, right? So it will be better for you when you write any code, so you know that, right? Why you're writing this code and what the meaning of that code and why using this code, like in that particular area, what the meaning of that code. So if you understand the meaning and why you need to use this code, so it will be very good for you to write a beautiful code, right? So as a developer, you always need to write beautiful code. It's not like there's something you need to be copy, you should go and copy it and paste it, right? It's not good idea. You can do by yourself. So if you understanding the code section, you can write, right? So that's why I'm everything I divided in so many sections to understand you why I just what is the meaning of that code, right? So if you understand the meaning, I think it's better for you to you can interchange and you can write by your own some of the code. So that's why explanation and the code and why we what the meaning of that code and why we are using that code, right? So in 3-4 section I divided all the section. So now I'm going to modify the value of an attribute. So my element dot set attribute class comma new class. Explanation: the set attribute method is used to modify the value of the class attributes of the selected element my element dot it change the class to new classes. Modify the element, modify the style, by the way. So my element dot style dot color is equal to blue. My element dot style dot font size is equal to 18 pixel. Explanation: the style property is used to modify the line style of the selected element. My element dot in the scale it set the text color to blue and font size equal to 18 pixel. Now we are added a class my element dot class list dot add highlight explanation. The class list property provide method to manipulate the class of the selected element. Here the add method is used to add the class highlighted. Remove class. My element dot class list dot remove inactive. Similarly, the class list property is used with the remove method to remove the class inactive from the selected element, my element. The JavaScript. Now I'm going to tell you what's the purpose of that, and just summarize, right? I'm gonna now I'm gonna summarize all this thing. So this JavaScript code demonstrates various ways to modify an HTML element dynamically. It shows case text and HTML content modification, attributes value changes, and inline style modification, class manipulation, adding and removing class. This modification can be particularly useful for creating dynamic and interactive web page. So let's meet guys in another video, right? So I will explain you all about modifying element. Let's meet in another video.